got to is that collegial approach is where an instructional idea is given to you, and then everybody works around that idea. For instance, as we were discussing together with you, if it's decided that you have, as a student, need to do maths because maths is a very important subject, then you are made to do it, and you do it to the best of your ability. You may be a good student, or you might not reach that goal. But in a collaborative approach, you would be able to decide what subjects you would like to take at a student level, and then everybody would support you, and you would work towards it to get the best out of you, rather than being instructed and then following that instruction forward. Now, if you take that into different areas, whether it comes to our teachers working on curriculums, whether it is us working on the syllabus, whether it's a collaborative approach, I think individually it's something which we can decide what is good for a particular thing, and then put it through a consensus and reach a general decision together. So I don't know, what we were just an example of what it was little amusing here. When each person spoke from each table, there was very little applause. Did you notice that? And the applause was from the table itself. So I thought that was a very collegial approach, not a collaborative one.
Excellent example. Thank you. Yes. Yes. Good observation of human behavior there. Yes. Okay.
Hi. Hi, good afternoon. I'm Ng from Malaysia. Okay. We thought a collaborative approach is a pool of ideas from all levels, whether they are from the students, the management, or the teachers. And we felt that if one of these links is failed somehow, collaborative approach will not be able to work out smoothly. Yeah.
Thank you. Yes, you're quite right. If you employ a collaborative approach to school improvement, you have got to make sure that you include all your stakeholders. That's for sure. Okay, so we're pretty clear now about what our brief is for today. So we're changing collegial to collaborative. Okay, right now then. I'm glad about that, because if we hadn't have come up with that solution, then the workshop would have to end now, because I hadn't prepared anything for collegiality. So I got my own way. Okay. Very good. Absolutely. So we've decided that we're all on the same wavelength. Okay. So in the what's it called? The executive summary of what we were going to do today. When I was working out what we were going to do today, a collaborative culture in schools is about engaging everyone effectively in the running of the school for the benefit of raising standards in the classroom. That's why we all get out of bed in the morning, isn't it? That's why we all work in education and do what we want to do. And I've said many, many, many times to many different layers of people, from politicians to cleaners in schools and everybody in between, what we do every day has got to impact on what is happening in the classroom. And that is something that we as educators should reflect on all of the time. Not in a formal way, but just driving home from school in the car each day, reflecting on what you've done. Yeah, I wonder if anybody agrees with this. You know, when I miss being in the classroom, and I said yesterday in my presentation that I feel I am first and foremost a teacher. And I wonder if this has ever happened to you. When I went home from school some days, and I think, oh God, that was a terrible day. I had a really awful day. Those children were so naughty today. They didn't do this, they didn't do that, that didn't work well. And then I'd I'd be driving home and I'd think about it more, and I'd think, well, why didn't that lesson go well? Well, actually, you know, I didn't plan that. I didn't spend a lot of time planning that. And, well, I went out to dinner with friends last night and I was a bit tired. And 9 times out of 10, if I was brave enough, if my day in the classroom had gone badly, it would be down to me. Do you agree with that? And that, you know, it's these things about being a teacher that give me goosebumps. And it's not power at all. It's the opportunity to be so closely involved in children's lives. Anyway, I digress. You see, I told you I talk too much. You've got to stop me. Schools that develop a collaborative approach to learning and teaching are likely to exhibit many, if not all, of the following characteristics. So I'm going to give you a list now, and then we're going to unpick this list or put a lot more detail into this list. Shared values and high trust. Do you agree? Clear communication and open dialogue. Shared decision-making process. Yes, because that's what this table talked about. Climate, you don't have to write it down, I've got it on a sheet for you. Climate of cooperation and participation. Yes, I mean, for goodness sake, we've all had to work at whatever level we work at in a school with that person that just won't come on board, haven't we? Whether it's your co-teacher in your English lesson planning and certainly as a principal and a head teacher, there is always that one person that you have to work extra specially hard on because they won't cooperate. Why should I change? Why should we do it any differently? Effective teams, crucially important in my opinion. Feeling isolated in your job isn't really an ingredient to doing your job that well, is it? And that's something that certainly, as you get to leadership and management, that's something that needs to be addressed by yourself. Mentoring systems and peer observation. This is something that I'm passionate about. In my various roles, certainly as a head teacher, was fiercely critical about lesson observations. And I think observing a lesson is a hugely sophisticated skill. And it's something that many people are not developed in or trained to do. Now, I'll tell you a very quick funny story at my own expense. The very first headship I got, I started the actual job on the 1st of September, which in the UK is the first day of the academic year. So that summer, when we broke up at the end of July, I didn't go travelling, didn't go away. I went into the school to start getting my office ready and read all the stuff, and I was so excited about being a head teacher now. And then the children came in and the teachers came in and school got started. And yes, everybody talked to me on the first day, but everybody was too busy. The teachers need to get their classrooms ready, they need to get to know their new children, they need blah de blah, you know all of that. And so they're all very nice to me, but nobody's got very much time for me. So I'm walking around this wonderful office that's very, very tidy because I've spent 4 weeks getting it ready. And I'm thinking, okay, here I am, I'm a head teacher, what do I do now? Okay, I know what I'll do. I'll go and observe lessons. That's what principals do, isn't it? That's what head teachers do. This wasn't on the first day. So off I go with my clipboard into a class and say to the teacher, you don't mind if I watch your lesson, do you? And she went, no. And of course she did. Of course she did. She didn't know me. So I sat down and with my clipboard, I saw a nice activity going on over here. Oh, that's nice. Well, what do I write down? So, to cut a long story short, I really had no idea what I was doing. I do know what a good lesson is, and I did then. And I do know what good teaching is, but I didn't know how to write it down. I didn't know how to, what I was meant to do, and I certainly hadn't given the most important element of lesson observation any thought at all, which is feedback. And I said, oh, thank you very much, Jill. That was a lovely lesson. I really enjoyed that. See you later. And off I went. And that was it. And I had no intentions of giving her any feedback because I hadn't realised that aspect of it. I quickly learned. Mentoring and peer observation is something that I've done in my schools, or that we've done in our schools, that has had a big impact. So I'd like to talk about that. Strong staff development, that's on the list. Effective self-evaluation systems and action plans. Self-evaluation is a bit like feedback. If you don't self-evaluate on what you're doing, then there's no point in doing it, or you're not going to develop. If you don't feedback on lesson observations, then there's no point in doing them. So that's my list. So we have 5 tables. 5 tables. So on each of these sheets, I've written one of those statements. Now, I don't know how many of you are familiar with thinking skills and brain skills type activities. Yeah? Anybody? Right. Well, what we're going to do this morning is a thinking skills exercise, and it's called a hot potato. Now, this is a brilliant strategy to use in the classroom if you're teaching children how to write reports, or students how to write reports. What I'm going to do is I'm going to give each table a sheet, and it's got one of these bullet points on it. You're going to spend 7 minutes, and you're going to brainstorm, keeping in mind a collaborative approach to learning. Yeah, you know what I mean. For 7 minutes, you're going to and only brainstorm this. You're not going to get into huge discussions. You're going to do a brainstorm on it. After 7 minutes, it's going to go to the next table, and you're going to do the same. But you're not allowed to put anything down that's already on it. Okay, so you've quickly got to read it and then put it down. After, the timings might change when we start. After 7 minutes, you're going to swap again. And so all of these sheets will be going round. So you will all write on all of the sheets, but you're not allowed to put anything down. Do you not understand? Am I not clear? Let's just have a practical example. Somebody take hold of the piece of paper and stand up. Quick, okay. Come out here. Right. Let's pretend you've started, okay? So I need somebody to stand up with a piece of paper on that table. Stand up with a piece of paper on that table. Who's got the piece of paper on that table? Stand up, please. Okay. So 7 minutes you've been working. You've got stuff written all over your paper, okay? I'm going to say